I have few questions here, but I will first read a short text. This text is by a well-known Tibetan Siddha who passed away in 1872, so relatively recent, and his name was Nyala Pema Dudul. Nyala Pema Dudul. So, just listen. It's entitled Advice on the View, Meditation, Action and Fruition. Namo Mahaguru Buddhaya. It is exceptional among all the tenets of the outer, inner and secret vehicles, meaning Sutra, Tantra and Dzogchen. It is the key to crossing the ocean of excellent teachings in all their many aspects. And it is the single point that's sufficient for understanding the Buddha's ultimate wisdom. Grant your blessings so that I may recognize my very own Rigpa or knowing awareness as the Guru. The view that is uncontrived, without basis or origin, the original condition. Let the view that is primordial wisdom, devoid of thought, manifest. Meditation that is sustained awareness, referenceless and free from grasping. Without meditating, let the wisdom of clear light unfold in mind's expanse. Action that is spontaneous, taking whatever occurs as the path of yogic conduct. Let perceptions and mind arise as the function of realizing one taste. Beyond the duality of samsara and nirvana, and free from hope and fear, let the ultimate fruition of reality itself be actualized. Now, for advice on the uncontrived, naturally arising view, listen again, all you devoted disciples. When you gain stability, abiding by the uncontrived natural state, there's no need to look any further. Clear light dawns all by itself. There's no need to meditate. Mind's nature is already there. Distraction is impossible. Awareness is its very essence. Movement dissipates by itself. Thoughts are purified like the sky. There's no need for adjustment, just abide by the empty clarity. And no need for hope or fear. Samsara and nirvana are equally free. Listen again, all you disciples gathered here. The mind that's always been free has no defining marks. Even when looking, nothing is seen. It is emptiness. But it is not an empty void. It's aware and clear. Awareness and emptiness are indivisible, pervasive like the sky, without focus, all penetrating, beyond coming and going. And yet all manner of thoughts and perceptions arise. It is not existent because it is empty. It is not non-existent because there's intrinsic awareness. Appearance and emptiness are in union, realization's expressive power. Your own mind, undistracted, is the Dharmakaya. And the wisdom mind of the Buddhas is Dharmakaya too. These two are indivisible, merged within clear light. When out of this ground of emptiness Dharmakaya, clear light dawns as its expression, spontaneously perfect, wisdom, love, and capacity for action blaze in strength. Primordial wisdom unfolds effortlessly and impartially, and Buddha forms and pure lands arise in boundless pleasure. Listen again, all you disciples gathered here. As for this old beggar's practice, his view is Chokchen, the great perfection, his meditation, Mahamudra, the great seal, and his conduct, the Vinaya, pure and simple. Let those words, the inner meaning, secret meaning of those words sink in for a moment. By Nyala, Pema, Duddul. Nyala Pema Dudul is said to have attained rainbow body, and his presence is actually felt in the room now. A really nice visit of a Mahasiddha. As with all blessings, don't try to catch it. Just be open and your body catches it. This transmission is actually more than a blessing. It's a pointing out the nature of mind given by Nyala Pema Dudul. He's pointing out the nature of mind, the reality of each of us. See how it feels, both eyes closed and eyes open. Thank you, Master. Very sincerely and humbly, I thank you from my heart of this pointing out of this extremely precious transmission, so rarely met. My deepest gratitude. May the blessings spread out and radiate not only to our own Sangha, but to Mahasangha of all beings in all realms. Join your hands. So, Nyala Pema Doodle's text started with these words, Namo Mahaguru Buddhaya, which means greetings to the great Guru, Buddha, or, meetings to the great Guru of awareness itself. It is exceptional among all the tenets of the outer, inner, and secret vehicles. It is the key to crossing the ocean of excellent teachings in all their many aspects, and it is the single point that's sufficient for understanding the Buddha's ultimate wisdom. Buddhas in plural. Yeah, that's the word. Grant your blessings so that I may recognize my own Rigpa as the Guru. Grant your blessings so that I may recognize my own awareness as the Guru. That's really the core line in this whole text. And that's what is exceptional among all the tenets of the three vehicles, which is also the key to crossing the ocean of excellent teachings. And it is the single point that's sufficient for understanding the ultimate wisdom of the Buddhas. As you know, it's really simple, really. But having said that, even though it is simple to explain and understand what practice and Dharma is, how the mind works, what the traps are, and so on, Even if we have the fortune, like everyone here does, the great fortune to learn about Dzogchen or Mahamudra teachings. Open heart is Dzogchen, or you might as well say Mahamudra method. So that itself is very rare. Like you probably, if you know meditators, I'm sure you all do. Most of them practice something else. The view is something else than what is discussed here. So that's why it said in the first line that it's exceptional among all the tenets of the outer, inner, and secret vehicles, meaning Sutra, Tantra, and Dzogchen. It is exceptional. Simply because the nature of mind is not pointed out in most approaches and methods and traditions. So and it says that so that I may recognize my very own Rikpa as the Guru, my very own awareness or knowing awareness, basic state, as the Guru. In open heart we do all these tantric practices and Guru Yoga, tantric Guru Yoga. But the point of all these practices is to recognize ourselves in our perfect, already Buddha, already enlightened condition. That's all. So, so the point, like I wrote recently, I published the Open Heart Preliminary Practices booklet, and in the introduction of that, I wrote that then one understands practices, preliminary practices, whatever practices, when you realize that simple presence and action, or in simple terms, doing and being is one and the same. So in the context of this line talks about Guru. So Guru in the case of Open Heart is Padmasambhava, and Yeshe Tsogyal Padmasambhava mostly, because he's the one who started the lineage. So we have the same potential, but we do these deity practices and Guru Yoga so that we recognize the Guru in us. We just use the Guru, external Guru, as a stepping stone, as a tool to know ourselves. And he's fine with that. I'm sure he doesn't mind me saying that, using him as a stepping stone or using him as a tool. That's his vow and his job. Something that I was thinking when I was reading this text is when you gain stability, abiding by the uncontrived natural state, there's no need to look any further. Clear light dawns all by itself. There's no need to meditate. Mind's nature is already there. Distraction is impossible. Awareness is its very essence. Movement dissipates by itself. Thoughts are purified like the sky. So I'm talking about the mind and awareness of everyone present. Remember that. There's no need for adjustment, just abide by the empty clarity, and no need for hope or fear. Samsara and nirvana are equally free. And the first line was, when you gain stability. When you gain stability. I kind of sometimes feel like a broken record, saying the same thing over and over again, in saying that in Open Heart we are very fortunate to have Bhumi openings so quickly. We have the 2PF, and then we have dynamic concentration combined with tantric empowerment that makes it possible. And having said that, I know, I am aware that on this retreat is joined by people who might be more or less frustrated with their progress in Bhumis. It sometimes happens for some people that after opening the first one, it takes year and a half, 2 years to get it going. So I do understand and appreciate if you have that frustration, but nevertheless, almost third of our Sangha has opened Mahasiddha Bhumis. 26 is the current number, 26 people. And so I feel like a broken record saying it often in talks that, it is exceptional, but it is exceptional. And, it can be done. Just recently, if you followed Open Heart blog, just recently, I was contacted by a lady from Canada who had opened all 13 Bhumis without tantric empowerment. So she had used some YouTube guided practices, did dynamic concentration with Guru Yoga and dynamic concentration with the 3 jewels, shouting Bu, Dha, Dhar, Ma, Sang, Ha, and through these practices opened all her Bhumis. After 10 years of Theravada Vipassana practice. So when Nyala Pema Dudul says that when you gain stability, without 2PF, dynamic concentration, tantric empowerment, this process of gaining stability could be much, much longer than it is in Open Heart. Because as you know, when the first Mahasiddha Bhumi, 11th Bhumi opens up, then the whole paradigm goes upside down. Then it's always there, it's always available, no need to seek it. It doesn't mean that there wouldn't be difficulties, obstructions, really, stuff arising. It still keeps the samsaric mind hasn't yet been put out. But, from there, it's just integrating the rest into it. It can be, very frustrating and painful process, but it is easier that way than it would be without having those Bhumis open. Trust me, I've been there, and many here has been there. But then I gave it a little thought, this situation that some practitioners have, that the first Bhumi opens easily, but then there is a relatively lengthy period of 1.5, 2 years that no Bhumi is open. And something that I remember our Finnish Sangha leader Helena was talking last year in September on autumn retreat. I asked her to, talk from her own experience, and she said that she had the same issue, same problem. But then when she really took bodhicitta, practicing for not only for myself, but practicing for others, for all beings who are in this mess of samsara, then it started. The bhumi started opening like, popcorn, making popcorn. So if that bodhicitta is not there, might not work so well. And what it means to have bodhicitta. It is a really serious thing. This basic idea that separates the small vehicle or Hinayana from Mahayana, or Mahayana from Hinayana. And as you know, Vajrayana or Tantric Buddhism is a Tantric extension of Mahayana, but it is firmly based on the same doctrine, emptiness and compassion, that Mahayana teaches. So, bodhicitta, care for other beings. This spring I gave a series of webcasts, online, how do you say, like a live stream teachings at Facebook, workshopping on bodhicitta. And in those sessions that can be found from YouTube, as well as in many previous sessions, I've explained the energy body. That also yesterday I was talking about energy centers and energy channels, and how the space inside the body and space outside the body, inside the aura, is filled, literally filled with loads, numerous channels, just like in Guru Rinpoche's Thangka. And in any Thangka you see, you have this sphere around the deity or sphere around the Guru, and you have these lines inside the sphere. Those are nadis. But these nadis, what the Thangkas usually don't depict is that these nadis continue. They extend beyond the sphere. And that's the how these that part of the nadis that extends beyond, and how it meets the personal energy sphere. That's really the ground that bodhicitta taps into. Because those nadis, as I have explained, and as we did meditation sessions studying this spring, when we express concern and care, and when we dedicate merit for all sentient beings, what happens is that our prana, our vital energy, shoots out from our body-mind outwards. So our energy, our awareness is sort of like explodes outwards. So it explodes through all those channels. And when that happens, this explosion of compassion flushes out the karmic stains, karmic files within those channels. And that's why, if this is not practiced, if you only practice within your own aura, you simply won't have as much progress in the long run. So this is the difference between Hinayana and Mahayana, if you ask me. This is my experience, and I'm, transmitting this experience and this knowledge to my students. But that's the thing. So when we have that like active concern, and we, we register that we are not alone, and that there are countless beings who suffer just like us. countless beings all around us, physical, non-physical, who are as confused, even more confused, have really strong anguish like we once had before we started practicing. That's where bodhicitta is born. This genuine care, genuine compassion. I have to do something about this. And for a Mahayana yogi, that's the motivation, and that's why we practice. Of course, we want to enlighten, we want to integrate our own samsaric condition into our Buddha nature. That goes without saying. That's the first priority. But the motivation is due for everyone, for the benefit of everyone. Because we are connected, our energy body is built that way. It looks like when we are physically seeing that, okay, this is my body, that's Jonathan's body, his 195 tall body, that's Matthew's 202 tall body, long guys, and that's Monica's body. She's clearly, we can see her outline and shape, and like with everyone. So physical body is, it looks like we are clearly physically separate. But in the subtle body, it's a totally different story, So if we think of our energy body, our aura having tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of, spider thread thin lines. Imagine that everyone here present has that many. Hundreds of thousands of channels. Our whole karmic sphere filled with thin threads. And that from each of our energy body, the lines continue further. And that everybody else has the same body. So, this is why in Mahayana, like explained from the, how should I say, energetic or tantric point of view, this is why compassion, bodhicitta, is given like the main arena in the practice. So, opening of bhumis, doing our practice with compassion, with concern for others, not just pretending it, but taking the suffering of other beings to our heart. If we think that I just want happiness, I just want to have my own peace and my I just want to enjoy, by myself, and not caring of others, or screw others, I don't care about others. Then I'm afraid there will be no stability, not the kind of stability that Nyala Pema is talking here. But I was saying, I got distracted. So Helena was saying in her account that her bhumi started opening when she realized what bodhicitta even is. For a while in our practice, it can be like compassion towards others. Well, I've met so many idiots and pricks that I don't really care. And believe me, as a teacher, I've met, I don't want to go into that. I'll just start ranting if I go there. But everything that's happening here in the local society, in the human society, in the planet, it's all because of dualistic confusion. It's all because of selfing. Selfing that causes short-sightedness, selfishness. It's just about me and fuck the rest. Screw that nation, screw those who have differing political or religious or whatever views. That's the duality, that's the problem. And the root of it is here and in that subject-object selfing that we were workshopping earlier in this session. But really, like Dalai Lama often says that all beings seek for happiness. Happiness is kind of a vague word. I don't really like it, but all beings seek a way out of suffering. And that's the understanding that is a way to become compassionate, become a Mahayana practitioner. Let's sit 1 or 2 minutes before afternoon tea. So welcoming our own suffering, whatever mental, emotional bubbles we have. Welcoming the suffering of all sentient beings into our heart. Good, join your hands. Continuing practice here at 6. Thank you.